And we're live. Welcome to the Generic Live Show. This is the Generic Live Show for Sunday, the 24th of July, 2016. It begins in 3, 2, 1.
Hello, everybody. How y'all tonight? This is Alan Freed, the old king of the Moondoggers, and it's time again for another of your favorite rock and roll sessions as you enjoy the Moondog Show.
Great fall! Great fall! Great fall!
You finally found the most generic live show. This is the Generic Live Show with Dale Campbell. Thanks for joining us here on the Generic Live Show, here on a Sunday. That's right. We've gotten rid of the old intro for this week. That's right. Cleveland rocks this week because the media has been there all week. We haven't been. We've been right here in Studio D here in beautiful Redlands Valley State this week, watching the Republican National Convention, of course. It has been lighting up the world stage. We're doing something a little bit different on our coverage of the Republican National Convention. You knew it was going to be happening. You kind of predicted it. I mean, really, it's something that's been dominating the news for 4 days. You know, we've been covering it here on the Generic Live Show for a Sunday. Thanks for joining us. Dale Campbell with you, of course, on this Sunday. Beautiful Sunday it is. Like I said, we've been here analyzing the all week the National Convention as it's been happening. Well, not as it's been happening, but I've been sitting here kind of watching it on and off on online, on Veiling. We're going to be doing our coverage a little bit different. We're going to be doing this next week with the Democratic National Convention as well. A little bit of background on the Republican National Convention. Don't worry, we will have other fun stories to kind of break up the coverage, because I know just giving you 2 hours of the convention is just a bit much on the show. If you have any comments throughout the show, by the way, you can use the Q&A feature on the Google Plus event page, or just leave a comment on the YouTube page. We'll get that for you and put that on the air if you leave that this week or next week. We're going to be breaking up the 4 nights over 4 segments. So, of course, the 4 big segments on the show will be dedicated to the convention. The rustling that I have, these bits of paper that I'm holding up to the camera, these are report cards that I have done up for letter grades and comments on, for the first 3 nights, 5 speakers, and on the final night, 4 speakers, to make sure I give enough time for Donald Trump's, the critiques of Donald Trump's speech. He was on the 4th night. We're going to give them letter grades. We're going to let you hear sound from all of these speakers. I should keep saying candidates, but from all of these speakers, you're going to hear them in all of their glory. Of course, you're going to hear them right here. We're going to give you excerpts of all 5 speakers, then we're going to give them letter grades, or what I grade them, letter grades, along with comments like report cards. Simple, effective, and different. It's a little bit different, you know. I strive to be a little bit different. I cover the same stuff that everyone else pretty much covers these days, but I try and do it a little bit differently and my sort of perspective on it. But without further ado, let's jump straight into it. Night number 1, we've got the full program as well here. So they were broken up into 4 nights. Day 1, Make America Safe Again. It's a day on national security and foreign policy. Activities started around 7:50 p.m. Eastern Time, with a speech rounding up the night's activities from Representative Ryan Zinke, which we are not going to cover. But Melania Trump was in that last block of speakers. In that block, we will talk about Melania Trump, but we'll give you sound from 5 of these guys, and then of course we're going to give you kind of highlights of the night as well. It's a little bit different here on the generic live show. I just closed one off them. Oh no, we'll get that speech back up. But we're gonna run through this now without further ado. Right now, we're gonna start with Pat Smith. If you don't know who Pat Smith was, she is the mother of a deceased Benghazi victim. We're gonna hear from her and how she did at the Republican National Convention on Monday night. This is the night 1. Here is Pat Smith.
My son, Sean, was one of 4 brave Americans killed during the 2012 terrorist attack at Benghazi. Sean was a wonderful son and father to my 2 amazing grandchildren, Samantha and Nathan, now 10 and 11. He was proud to serve his country with the United States Foreign Service. The last time I talked to Sean, the night before the terrorist attack, he told me, "Mom, I am going to die."
That is Pat Smith at the Republican National Convention on Monday night. We're going to hear more of Pat Smith now. We're going to hear 2 clips from Pat Smith, mother of deceased Sean Smith in the Benghazi attacks.
I am a woman, a mother and a grandmother of 2. How could she do this to me? How could she do this to any American family? Donald Trump is everything Hillary Clinton is not.
That is Pat Smith. I gave Pat Smith on my report card a C- or a B+, kind of straddling that line between a C and a B. She was very passionate about the subject of national security, of course, tied it back to Donald Trump, but failed to failed to mention what Trump will do and what kind of is needed to go from here in terms of national security. I understand that she was very, very passionate about the loss of her son, but Pat Smith gets a C- B+ from me. C plus B-. Wrong way around there, Dale, on your notes. Let me adjust that. I just realized that makes no sense. C+ B- from me, from Pat Smith at the National Convention, giving speakers at the Republican National Convention letter grades. Here is Scott Baio, from Happy Days. He was at the Republican National Convention. Here is a clip of him, and I'll get to his letter grade.
I can't tell you how much of an honor it is to stand up here and talk about a man that I trust with the lives of my family and the health of our country.
More from Scott Baio at the RNC.
And now it's time to give back to her. We have a choice in November. We can go for Hillary Clinton, I agree, who wants to continue the same policies that are wrecking this country. policies that make us unsafe, a woman who somehow feels that she's entitled to the presidency.
That is Scott Baio at the RNC. I gave Scott Baio's speech a D. That is D for dog. He failed. I think he didn't. His speech had no substance. If he was not there, his speech wouldn't have added or taken away anything from the RNC. He just didn't add anything to the RNC or Donald Trump. Again, kind of getting that didn't have any emotion. He stood still. By the way, visuals are important to speeches as well. The body language. The body language is important when it comes to these things. Scott Baio gets a D. He was lacking in content, lacking in delivery, of course attacking Hillary Clinton, but not providing any solutions. If you're just joining us, we're doing letter grades for speakers at the Republican National Convention. It's our kind of different way to cover the National Convention. We'll be doing it throughout the show. The big highlight of the night, of course, was Melania Trump, wife of Donald Trump. She, of course, Donald Trump introduced her on stage on the first night. She'd come under fire. The headline from night one, by the way, was that Melania Trump plagiarized Michelle Obama's speech from 2008. Here's a little bit of Melania Trump at the Republican National Convention, and we'll get into the plagiarism accusation in a minute.
The incredible arena of fashion. After living and working in Milan and Paris, I arrived in New York City 20 years ago, and I saw both the joys and hardships of daily life. On July 28, 2006, I was very proud to become citizens of the United States.
Sorry, that was not the plagiarized bit, but it's important, nevertheless, to mention Melania Trump talks about her journey into the United States. Let's see if we can find.
And I'm definitely biased. I was born in Slovenia, business and travel. Promise that you treat people with respect. They thought and.
I think here's the
From
part.
a young age,
Here we go.
my parents impressed on me the values that you work hard for what you want in life, that your word is your bond, and you do what you say and keep your promise, that you treat people with respect. They thought and showed me values and morals in their daily life. That is a lesson that I continue to pass along to our son. And we need to pass those lessons on to the many generations to follow. Because
Melania Trump at the RNC.
Because we want our children in this nation to know that the only limit to your achievements is the strength of your dreams and your willingness to work for them. That
Melania Trump at the RNC, she was in some hot water over in the first night for allegedly plagiarizing Michelle Obama's speech from 2008. I would disagree. I gave Melania Trump a B for her speech because she was effective in drawing in, as you would like to imagine, Donald Trump into the speech effectively, what Donald Trump stands for, and she made it personable. She, of course, was not born in the US. She came to US, like she mentioned in that first clip that we played. And then that happened. Then this happened. I would say piggybacking for sure, but plagiarizing is copying and pasting the speech. if you listen to the same speeches side by side, they are very similar in nature. I will give the media that, but they are not the same. They are similar in tone, and particularly in those couple of those paragraphs in and around that clip are very similar in tone, but ultimately the speeches deliver very, very different messages. Melania Trump, she did have, and this is unfortunately to her detriment, she didn't really, I wouldn't say proofread the speech. It did look like she was struggling to read the teleprompter in parts of the speech and stumbled because of that. I understand that English is not her, or her accent still comes through fairly strong, but that is no hard feeling on Melania Trump. She delivered a very good speech by all expectations. Outside of those people who say she plagiarized the speech, I would say she definitely did piggyback, or her speechwriters definitely did piggyback the speech, but she delivered it very, very well. Therefore, she gets a B from me. Very emotional too in her voice there. We now move to Willie Robinson.
Successful businessman.
Willie Robinson from Duck Dynasty, talking at the RNC.
Although I flew commercial here, so I'm guessing he didn't. We both have had hit television shows. And we both have intelligent wives who are much better looking than we are.
Willie Robinson. I keep doing that. I keep calling him Robbie. Willie Robinson. I did it again at the RNC here talking.
If you're a serviceman fighting overseas, or a cop who is risking their lives to help keep us safe at home, Donald Trump will have your back. That the deck is stacked against you and you just can't win, Donald Trump will have your back.
A message in there from Willie Robinson. I gave Willie Robinson's speech a C, though very, very borderline D, if he didn't have those punchlines at the end. He kind of did his 4-minute 45 speech did have an overarching theme, and it's because of that, his overarching theme at the end of his speech with Donald Trump will have your back, quotation marks, kind of gave him that edge to kind of give a passable and pretty much very forgettable speech, the one that Scott Baio kind of failed to give kind of any sort of substance. At least Robbie Wilson had. Willie Robinson, I did that again. Robbie Williams. I was listening to Robbie Williams before the show. Can you tell? Kind of did that. I will leave here with the best ones that I had, but here now is former mayor of New York City. This is night one at the Republican National Convention. Our coverage of it, anyway, here on the Generic Live Show. Former mayor of New York, Rudy Giuliani, at the Republican National Convention.
This was a man with a big heart. Every time New York suffered a tragedy, Donald Trump was there to help. He's not going to like my telling you this, but he did it anonymously. When police officers were shot, when firefighters were hurt, when people were in trouble, he came forward and he helped, and he asked not to be mentioned. Well, I am going to break my promise to him. I am going to mention it. This is a man with a big heart who loves people, all people, from the top to the bottom, from the middle to the side.
That one more clip here from Rudy Giuliani.
John Smith and CIA agents Tyrone S. Woods and Glenn Doherty. May they rest in peace.
I don't know what that clip was in aid of, but Rudy Giuliani delivered a passionate speech and very, very quiet in nation, though didn't change in tone. I gave Rudy Giuliani a B because of his. You're at a political event. You have to kind of show a kind of love for the candidate and kind of solutions on what Donald Trump will do. I believe that Rudy Giuliani did that, and he got a B from me as well. The content was really good. The delivery was good as well. Here is probably the best speech of night one, in my opinion, Senator Jeff Sessions.
And a lawful system of immigration that protects their safety and their financial well-being. Average Americans have been the first to know that something is wrong with this economy. Our middle class is steadily declining, with our African American and Hispanic communities being the hurt the most. But the Washington establishment, the media, big corporations have been in denial.
Let's get to the end here. Where is it? Here it is. Senator Jeff Sessions at the Republican National Convention.
Percentage of Americans actually holding a job in 40 years. Our duty as elected officials is to get our people jobs first. It cannot be our policy to take jobs from abroad while government support payments are used for those unemployed Americans.
That is Senator Jeff Sessions. I gave Jeff Sessions an A for his speech. Very passionate, very policy-orientated. Balance of that and balance between that and glowing, it's not glowing endorsement of Trump, but kind of supporting Trump as well, supporting the candidate who you're nominating. And there was a protest kind of broke out of there as well that didn't make any kind of headlines per se, but it is very important to mention here as well. Kind of got very passionate, very soft when he needed to, and the audience reacted well to him. The content was good, the delivery was good, and sparked real emotion from himself and the audience. Well-rounded speech. I gave Jeff Sessions an A on night one. We'll continue with night two at the bottom of the hour as we continue here on the Generic Live show. We'll continue here. Do you feel like you're getting richer? Is your pocket feeling a little bit heavier? We'll tell you why as we continue here on the Generic Live show. Thanks for joining us. It's 9:22.
This podcast is proudly sponsored by Amazon. Amazon has all of your needs for all occasions. Amazon stocks a large range of pretty much everything. Everything from automotive to baby to computers, payment cards, groceries, health and personal care, and everything for Amazon Kindles, ebooks, movies and television, magazines, office products, and stuff for your patio, lawn, and garden. Hey, they even sell sports goods. If you're into sports ball. If you're ready to check out the range at Amazon.com, use geek-io.net/Amazon to help out the Geek-IO Podcast Network. We get a little bit of a kickback through our affiliate link there. That's geek-io.net/Amazon. Amazon, everything for every occasion. Everything for every occasion may not be the official slogan for Amazon. Some products not available in all areas. Welcome to your Generic Live Show. This is the Generic Live Show with Dale Campbell.
Thanks for joining us here on the Generic Live Show here on a Sunday. Glad to be with us here on the Generic Live Show. We're running a little bit behind already. I don't know how, and I don't know why, but it happens, you know. I get a little bit excited. We'll continue our coverage of the Republican National Convention in a little bit. I want to break it up a little bit, though, because it can get a little bit heavy. Does it feel like, though, you're getting rich? Or said differently, is being rich the new normal? The biggest Australian study of income came out this week. It found strong growth on income and wealth among all kinds of households, as this chart of raising income shows. Non-elderly couple is the blue line. It showed around 60,000 in about 2014. Next to it is a single non-elderly male earning the second highest, then along with couple with dependent children coming in third. But the survey also showed Australia is land of poverty and deprivation. It's deprivation, Dale. Read. You're reading. How hard could it be to read? The interesting thing, though, however, is they go looking for the deprivation. The survey asked thousands of Australians whether dozens of items were essential. One thing that most people, 99.7%, agreed was essential was medical treatment. The thing that at least 44% agreed was on a week's holiday away from home each year was the least essential. But in the middle was some weird results. 59% of people said it was essential to have comprehensive car insurance. 55% said it was essential to have a car. And 79% said that a washing machine was essential. That's a bit strange. I don't know how that works. Researchers then used things the majority of people agreed that were essential to measure deprivation. If you didn't have them and couldn't afford them, were you counted as deprived? In most of the world, a car, insurance, and your washing machine would be considered luxuries. They were in Australia not too long ago. As society gets richer, our cutoff on counts of poverty and deprivation rises. A lifestyle that would make someone a king in another part of the world would make them miserable here. Our relative poverty line is $23,000 a year after tax. Relative poverty stays more or less steady through, though absolute positive having a certain amount has fallen. Absolute poverty is at 4% in 2014, which is considered 22,752 other, and relative poverty is at 11%. Getting richer in a country is, hang on, here we go. Research for America suggests that earning above $75,000 a year doesn't lead to any increase in happiness, although it does lead in people giving more rosy assessments when asked to evaluate their life. If other people getting richer is not making them happier, it could seem indirectly making us less happy. What are we even doing? The solution is to have a society that spends its money on the right things. Research says we enjoy our money more if we spend it on expenses and time saving. For me, I don't know. I just enjoy saving money for the most part. I mean, I would spend money on kind of saving up for a project, if that makes sense. And not anything like to buy. I don't have a car. I mean, I have a washing machine because I need clean clothes, but apart from, I don't have any sort of desire. I mean, I have my podcasting set up, of course, and pour money into that, but that's not, it is leisurely and I enjoy it, but I don't buy that. And I save up for big projects. I don't buy myself little bits and pieces, if that makes sense. As we continue here on the Generic Live Show, where we continue our coverage of the Republican National Convention, plus a story over the US that a father built their son a Harry Potter inspired nursery. We'll give you all the details as we continue here on the Generic Live Show on a Sunday with Dale Campbell. So glad to be with us, whether you're listening to us live or on your hard drive. Thanks for joining us. It's 9:31.
This podcast is proudly brought to you by you. That's right, you. Over at patreon.com/geekio, where you can help us out with a small monthly donation for as little as $1 a month. Do you know anything that you can buy for $1 a month? I don't. That's right, though. $1 a month. When there's no terms, there's no conditions. $1 per month to help us out to unlock some really, really cool goals. A goal that I personally want to help unlock is the weekly Mana Pool Show, which is a weekly playthrough of D&D 5th edition. It would be really cool if we could do that weekly. And you can help that happen with as little as $1 per month. That's right, $1. $1. There's nothing you can buy with $1 these days. $1 a month would help us out tremendously. Just head on over to patreon.com/geekio to help us out. We thank you, the listeners, for your support and keeping the lights on here at the show.
Hello, dear listener. Here at Geek.io, we're always happy to give some support to the little person. So today I'd like to let you know about a small internet startup called Amazon.com. Go to geek-io.net/Amazon to check out their large catalogs of books and magazines. I believe they may have some other items for sale too, records and videotapes perhaps. Using geek-io.net/Amazon lets them know you discovered them through us, and I'll throw a few pennies our way. Thank you.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? This is JD from How It Stacks here to talk to you about ProXPN. It is a private VPN, which basically means it is going to mask your IP address, protecting your data. So if you're out on the interwebs doing things you might not need to be doing, or if you're banking online overseas, it will help mask your data and keep it completely private. And you can do this for only $6.25 a month regularly, or you can use Geek20 for 20% off. So it's a pretty stellar deal, guys. And I'm just going to be honest, with all of the stuff that we've had going on, it's a good idea to invest in something like ProXPN.com. So I am JD, and I approve this message.
The Geeko Network is sponsored by Tweaked Audio. With 7 styles and 7 colors, there are mic'd and not mic'd options available, designed to sound great with music and talk, and engineered for durability. All options come with a lifetime guaranteed and a noise-reducing design, just so you don't get distracted and focus on what matters most. Compatible with all of your devices, even those weird Windows phone no one likes. We have an exciting offer just for our listeners. If you use the coupon code GEEK at checkout, you will receive a third off your order plus free worldwide shipping. Head on over to tweakedaudio.com to check out their range, and when you're ready to order, remember to use our coupon code GEEK at checkout for a third off, free worldwide shipping, and that lifetime warranty guarantee. We thank Tweaked Audio for their support of the Geek.io network.
Never miss a minute of the Generic Live Show. Find us on iTunes. Just search the Generic Live Show and listen. This is the Generic Live Show with Dale Campbell. Thanks for joining us here on the Generic Live Show, here on a Sunday with Dale Campbell. Thanks for joining us here on the Generic Live Show. We continue handing down our report cards for speakers at the Republican National Convention. We're here in Studio D with Captain America, watching over my shoulder on the YouTube channel now. He's right up there. He's watching over me every single minute, seeing that if I do a good job here or not. That's his job. It's my job to give you a show that you hopefully enjoy. But thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Glad to be with us. We'll continue our coverage now of the Republican National Convention. We move to night 2, where Speaker of the House Paul Ryan made headlines with his speech. Before we get to him, we want to get to a few highlights. I want to get to a few people here. Let's leave him to the last because he's the big headline maker. We'll get to Senate Majority Leader, the Senate of the USA, Majority Leader Mitch McConnell. He talks at the convention, and yeah, I didn't like the speech. You'll hear why.
Polio and forced to stay off my feet for 2 years. That experience taught me an abiding gratitude for my parents. And it also taught me how to wait, which comes in handy when you're the leader of the U.S. Senate. More than anything, though, my job has taught me the value of trust, how to distinguish between people who are in this to serve others and people who are in it for themselves.
That is Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell. He continues.
The scourge of human trafficking, and just last week we passed the first major law aimed at confronting the heartbreaking explosion of heroin and opioid abuse. So my friends, keep the Senate in Republican hands, and we'll continue this work. And the remarkable public servants that I'm proud to lead in the Senate will not let you down.
That is Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell. I did not like his speech. Yeah, it kind of grated on my nerves. I'm not going to lie. I'm here to be honest, really. Like these would tell you. I mean, I drafted these pretty much most of the day today. I didn't like his speech. I gave Mitch McConnell a D. I think he failed to stay sort of on topic. You got to remember the topic for night 2 was Make America Work Again, I believe. It was Make America Work Again. Economy and labor issues. I don't think it kind of went that way. I just I don't know, it just stuck with me. It just hit me wrong. I don't know why. I don't know, it should have. It was okay. It was a Mitch McConnell speech more so than a representation of the Senate speech. It was simply a victory lap for some reason. And I just fell flat and just didn't have the punch for me like it should have. So I gave Mitch McConnell a D. Again, leaving Paul Ryan until last. Want to get to Dana White, the head of the UFC. Hang on, ready? Hang on, I have to back away from the microphone for this. Why? Okay, there you go. Now, oh my god. Fantastic dogs in the neighborhood are now barking in the distance. Sorry if you can hear that. That is beautiful. All right. So here is Dana White with his passionate speech at the RNC. I thought that why question mark. You'd be surprised at his letter grade. Here we go. Here is Dana White at the RNC.
And honored to be invited here tonight. And I wanted to show up and tell you about my friend, Donald Trump. The Donald Trump that I know. In 2001, my partners and I bought the UFC, and it was basically considered a blood sport. State Athletic Commission didn't support us. Arenas around the world refused to host our events. Nobody took us seriously. Nobody. Except Donald Trump. Donald was the first guy that recognized the potential that we saw in the UFC and encouraged us to build our business.
And that is Dana White, the head of the UFC, at the Republican National Convention. He continues.
Look with the fights tonight. I'm going to be watching or whatever it is that we might have going on. And he always reaches out to me when something has happened in my career. Back in 2011, we signed this huge network television deal with Fox. And they did a big write-up in the New York Times. Donald took that paper and he wrote on the front and said, "Congratulations, Dana. I always knew you were going to do it."
He continues.
Let me tell you something. I've been in the fight business my whole life. I know fighters. Ladies and gentlemen, Donald Trump is a fighter, and I know he will fight for this country.
Dana White, fighting for you, fighting for his life. I shouldn't say that. I gave him a B. I think he was efficient. He was efficient in delivering the message of the night. Make America work again. He politically, he tied in the candidate. He did what he had to do, and he was talking about building a business. It was an efficient speech. He was quiet in parts where he needed to be quiet, and he was loud in parts where he wanted to deliver the message, particularly in that last bit that you had. Very, very good speech from Dana White. I was genuinely impressed. I gave him a B. Actress.
Please welcome acclaimed.
Oh, yeah. Cleveland Brown to the stage, ladies and gentlemen. Acclaimed actress. Here's what she had to say at the RNC.
As a small business, we used to offer medical insurance to our employees. And for those who chose to be covered, we paid most of their premiums. In this quarter, we had several employees work over the 30-hour threshold set by Obamacare. By the requirements of law, they must now sign up for one of the approved health care plans. And our younger employees, they don't understand why. They're getting forced off of their previous plan, which was significantly more affordable and tailored to their needs. Most of our employees are college age and they're very healthy. Yet they're required to buy coverage that does not meet their needs and is too expensive for their wallets. One good thing, it's been a wake-up call to all of our young employees, and they are all voting Republican this year.
That is Kimberly Brown. More than Kimberly Brown here.
You know, when I look back at my grandparents, my mom and dad, I realized that so much of their lives were devoted to one goal, helping me, my sister Tammy, my brother Chris, have every opportunity to succeed. I was always told by my grandmother I could do anything I put my mind to, and I did.
That is the message of Kimberly Brown. Her speech was an A. Gave her speech an A for a different reason than I gave Jeff Sessions an A. Kimberly Brown also gets an A from night too. Kimberly, very, very passionate, delivering a message, tying it into Donald Trump, tying it into the Republican platform at the same time. Passionate perspective, did really well. Gets a soft A from me, but still gets an A nevertheless. Then we get to Donald Trump Jr. Here is Donald Trump Jr. It's Donald Trump's son, delivering his speech at the Republican National Convention. Here's his.
He spent his career with regular Americans. He hung out with the guys on construction sites, pouring sheetrock and hanging, pouring concrete and hanging sheetrock. He listened to them, and he valued their opinions as much and often more than the guys from Harvard and Wharton locked away in offices away from the real work. He's recognized the talent and the drive that all Americans have. He's promoting people based on their character, their street smarts, and their work ethic, not simply paper credentials. To this day, many of the top executives in our company are individuals that started out in positions like blue collar, but he saw something in them and he pushed them to succeed.
I don't know what's happening there with that kind of went set up. There is Donald Trump Jr. some more.
To deal with. In business, I was trained by my father to make the tough investments and decisions today to ensure a brighter future tomorrow.
And that is Donald Trump Jr. I get Donald Trump Jr. B. Billy Trump Dan was C. I think he was efficient in kind of parading around his dad, which is the point, but kind of didn't tie it back into policy. But it was a very, very good speech. Donald Trump Jr. gets a he gets a B minus / a C plus from me. Kind of, I'll drop it down. I think B minus is where it's at. We could fest it down to a C plus if too much time continues. Now we want to get to the big situation.
Sure doesn't have.
Oh yeah. What's everything water playing? Hey, things are playing. Can't really complain about that. Republican Paul Ryan, which he came out. There was a roll call that happened. That happened before all the speeches of the day. Paul Ryan came out. He did a roll call. He's not the head. Ryan's previous is the head of the RNC, but he came out. Paul Ryan and accepting the nomination, accepting Donald Trump's nomination. It's weird stuff, but he came out for Donald Trump to accept the nomination. But there was a roll call that happened earlier, and here's the point. And they were cutting mics because it was getting too noisy, and people wanted to vote for another candidate. And yeah, it was not pretty on the floor from night 2. That's the highlight out of night 2, was this speech from Paul Ryan and the awkwardness of the roll call and how they were breaking rules, cutting people's mics off. Here is Paul Ryan and a clip of his speech.
Her work gave her hope. It made our family proud. And to this day, my mom is my role model. All the corner shops in our towns and cities, the restaurants, cleaners, gyms, hair salons, hardware stores, these didn't come out of nowhere. A lot of heart goes into each one. And if small business people say they made it on their own, all they're saying is that nobody else worked 7 days a week in their place. Nobody showed up in their place to open the door at 5 in the morning. Nobody did their thinking and worrying and sweating for them. After all that work, and in a bad economy, it sure doesn't help to hear from their president that government gets the credit.
That is Paul Ryan. I would not play for you the first minute of the coverage here. It's interesting to know. Oh, sorry. Whoops, that was not speech. Sorry. Failed. Yeah, here's his speech.
Everybody, hey, thank you all very, very much. I'm Wisconsin. Hey, delegates, friends, fellow citizens. I can't tell you how much I appreciate the privilege of addressing this 41st convention of the Party of Lincoln. And as part of my chairman duties, let me thank all of the people of this beautiful city for looking after us this week.
This is the proper Paul Ryan speech.
Talk forever about poverty in America. And if I stopping talk did any good, we'd have overcome those deep problems long ago. This explains why, under the most liberal president we have had so far, poverty in America is worse, especially for our fellow citizens who are promised better and who need it most. Yes, we have, because it's still what earns the trust in the votes. This year's surprises and dramatic turns can end in the finest possible way when America elects a conservative governing majority. We can do this. We can earn that mandate if we don't hold anything back, if we never lose sight of the space, if we never lose sight of what's on the table. Our candidates will be giving their all. They'll be giving their utmost, and every one of us has got to go and do the same. So what do you say? What do you say? What do you say that we unify this party? What do you say that we unify this party at this crucial moment when unity is everything?
That is Paul Ryan. I'm going to retract my grade because I accidentally created the wrong speech. I graded Paul Ryan's 2012 speech a C because I just think it was a bit bland and boring. But he was the vice presidential candidate, by the way, former vice presidential candidate for Mitt Romney back in 2012. I'm going to refrain from giving him a grade here. I wanted to play that though because he was the chair of the RNC. I think he was the chair. Was that Reince Priebus? He was on the committee for the RNC and was at the hub of the roll call coming out of 92. As we continue here on the Generic Blood Show, well, a father in the US has styled a kid's nursery to look like Harry Potter. Joining us here on the Generic Blood Show on Sunday, we'll tell you more details about that Harry Potter nursery that you know and you know you want. Thanks for joining us. It's 9:52.
The Podcast Network is proudly sponsored by ProXPN. ProXPN is an uber secure VPN that believes you should be able to use the internet how you want to. By encrypting all traffic that goes through it, keeps your data private, your IP address is completely hidden, so your location is secure, keeps you safe from all of the stupid cable strike rules, and more. With everything going on the internet these days, particularly now in 2016, all the threats and Trojan horses and Big Brother watching you, ProXPN is a very good investment. And good news is it's very affordable and won't break the bank. Keep your traffic safe. Go to proxpn.com and when you're ready to order, use our coupon code GEEK20, that's GEEK20, for 20% off the already really low price of $6.25 a month. We thank ProXPN for their support of the Geek.io network.
By the way, waking you up 20 years late. This is the Generic Blood Show with Dale Campbell. Thanks for joining us here on the Generic Blood Show for Sunday. So glad to be with us here on a very, very special Sunday. It's a very special Sunday here on the Generic Blood Show, of course. We got full coverage of the Republican National Convention. We're going to continue our coverage of handing out our report cards to all of for most of the highlights figures, including the big man himself as well. Donald Trump, that's coming up. That's continuing next hour on the show. But first, a dad in the US has created the most magical Harry Potter nursery. A couple in Illinois has turned their 7-month-old son's nursery into Hogwarts. Casey Daniel, who is a huge Harry Potter fan, he mentioned the idea to his wife, Casey, while she was expecting it eventually went through with it. Quote, our Harry Potter nursery is finally complete after several months of planning. I absolutely love the way that everything has turned out. As I sit here rocking out Atlantis late like I'm in Hogwarts, Kelsey worked. She shared the magical photos of the complete nursery on Facebook. It turns out that there were many Harry Potter fans on there that would approve. The post has 6,000 likes and has been shared nearly 2,000 times. J.K. Rowling definitely be proud of that. The nursery features a wicked mural completed by their friend and 3D artist Nate Bronsky, who is totally decked out with lots of magical Harry Potter paraphernalia. Yeah, this nursery looks really cool, guys. So I want to describe it for you real quick. It is really three-dimensional, but it's really not. They've repainted the walls to look like bricks. They've created windows looking out outside of these beautiful 3D paintings in perspective. It's really, really cool. I'm going to put it up on the Facebook page. I think the crib itself is it's a brown sort of crib. It's got all the houses as well. Even it's got chairs in there. It's got the rocking chair. It's got the owl and an owl cage. It's got the traditional mirror. It's got the lighting of Harry Potter. It's got pillows. It's got showers. Everything in this everything in this nursery. It's even got it's a Harry Potter. All the books, of course. And it's got these Harry Potter ties, and he's got like glasses as well. It's wonderful stuff in this nursery. I reckon it wouldn't have been cheap to do. It would have costed them some money to put together, but I think it would have been worth it for this kid. This kid clearly is going to be growing up with some Harry Potter in his life. I think it's safe to say that this kid is going to be having some Harry Potter in his life for sure. But I didn't have anything like this as a kid. I had a green room, quite literally a green room. When in my old house, we painted our rooms different colors, and I painted mine bright neon green. No kidding. It was the main feature wall was kind of Granny Smith, kind of apple green, but my walls were light green. I loved it. I loved my bright green, and I kind of had nature stuff in my old room. Now that I come to think about it. My old house, when I used to live when I was younger, much younger than this, I had we lived in a pink house. Our whole house was pink. So that's exciting stuff. As we continue here on the Generic Live Show, we'll continue our coverage of the Republican National Convention will give the major speakers their time. Plus, we have some handy hints for you if you are buying any sort of wearable fitness technology. We have some tips and tricks for you so you don't have to. Thanks for joining us here on the Generic Live Show. So glad to be with you. It's 7 o'clock.
This podcast is proudly brought to you by you. That's right, you. Over at patreon.com/geekio, where you can help us out with a small monthly donation for as little as $1 a month. Do you know anything that you can buy for $1 a month? I don't. That's right, though. $1 a month. When there's no terms, there's no conditions. $1 per month. Help us out to unlock some really, really cool goals. A goal that I personally want to help unlock is the weekly Maniple Show, which is a weekly playthrough of D&D 5th edition. It would be really cool if we could do that weekly. And you can help that happen. It's little $1 per month. That's right, $1. $1. There's nothing you can buy with $1 these days. $1 a month would help us out tremendously. Just head on over to patreon.com/geekio to help us out. We thank you, the listeners, for your support and keeping the lives on the podcast network. Is proudly sponsored by Think Geek. Think Geek is the biggest online retailer of all things geeky. That's right, everything geeky. And they stock the biggest brands in geekiness like Star Wars, Star Trek, Doctor Who, Minecraft, Legend of Zelda, Marvel, Game of Thrones, DC Comics, and Geek Labs. And they sell a whole bunch of things like collectibles, electronics, gadgets, t-shirts, and apparel, gifts. They sell it all over at Think Geek. And they have free shipping on orders over $75 or a flat $6.95 US standard shipping to all places in the US. So when you're ready to check out the range over at Think Geek, the online geek superstore, just use our link to go over to Think Geek over at geek-io.net/thinkgeek. That gives us a little bit of a kickback on what you buy. Don't worry, we're not stealing your shoe size or asking you for a blood sample. It's okay. We're only getting a kickback from what you buy and actually what you buy from Think Geek. Join in, geek out, Think Geek. We thank Think Geek for their support of the Geek.io podcast network.
Hi, this is JD. You know me from How It Stacks and other popular things that haven't quite caught on yet. But something that has caught on, that would be Think Geek. And everybody loves Think Geek because you can get Han Solo, ice cubes, Daleks, sonic screwdrivers. Hell, I'm drinking a screwdriver now, but only because, I love Think Geek. And you can get all of those things except for, a screwdriver at geek-io.net/thinkgeek. And once again, I'm JD from How It Stacks and other things.
Hello, everybody. Hi, all tonight. This is Alan Freed, the old king of the Moondoggers, and it's time again for another of your favorite rock and roll sessions as you enjoy the Moondog Show.
Minute of the Generic Live Show. Find us on Logbook Radio. Just search Generic Live Show and listen. This is the Generic Live Show with Daniel Campbell. Thanks for joining us here on the Generic Live Show. That's right, it is the Cleveland Show. Thanks for joining us here on the Generic Live Show. It is filled with coverage from the Generic Live Show. From from Cleveland, Ohio, because the Republican National Convention was there. It took up 4 whole days. They're 4 days that I'm not going to get back, by the way. Now, non-stop coverage of the conference. I had a busy week last week. I want to tell you about my week, actually, a little bit. I don't like to get personal on the show. I do get personal a little bit on the show. A local fair / regional show, whatever you want to call it, was in town. And I was working there 2 full days, Wednesday and Thursday, of course, Wednesday night and Thursday night in the US. So I had to catch up on that on a Friday, and I had other podcasts / work commitments happening on Friday. So I spent most of my weekend catching up on this sort of stuff. I'm feeling tired. I'm tired. I'm sorry if this show feels a little bit flat because of it, and it just. I'll get there. But we are halfway. I'm tussling. So apologies if there's more paper tussling than this sort of thing. We started this last hour on every big segment of the show. You'll notice the show is divided into segments. At the top of the hour, at the bottom of the hour, we're going to be analysing the Republican National Convention in all 4 nights. We'll be doing this again next week with the Democratic National Convention. I prepared report cards. That's right, report cards for key speakers. I did 5 speakers for nights 1 through 3 and 4 speakers, 3 other speakers other than Donald Trump. Donald Trump for an hour, so of course that is a lot to listen to. So I didn't grab 5 speakers on night 4. I only grabbed 4 speakers on night 4, and grabbed their speeches entirely and gave them letter grades and comments. So I could put these up somewhere. As well. I might actually do that. It's crunching them up. I should actually no. Where have I put? Oh, servants. Servants, come to me, please. I'll find them later. Put them somewhere. But anyway, not important right now. What is important is the fact that you're going to find them. No, they're blank pieces of paper. So why doesn't anyone know? Why doesn't anyone know where I've been putting pieces of paper? But anyway, report letter grades for the Republican National Convention, because at the Republican Convention, we are at night 3, where Mike Pence, the Indiana governor, formally accepts his nomination, and well, the Ted Cruz speech debacle made headlines on night 3. We'll get to those 2 candidates in just a minute. Want to get to other speakers of the night, where Eric Trump came out. Eric Trump came out. Which speech is it? Why isn't anything working? I hate when this happens. Okay, here we go. Eric Trump came out and he gave a speech on behalf of Donald Trump. Remember, night 3 is Make America First Again. I believe, yeah. Make America First Again. That is the theme of the night. So there we go. This is Donald Trump's son, Eric Trump, at the Republican National Convention.
His entire life, to set aside a global brand that he's made synonymous with success, with quality, with uncompromising, just the best. At a time when the people at the pinnacle of their career like my father would have held fast to a lifestyle that has truly become the epitome of the American dream. My father instead chose to give that dream back to the people he had eluded for so long.
Eric Trump continues.
It is no more selfless an act. To the unemployed voter sitting at home watching me right now, wondering how you're going to make your next mortgage payment or rent payment, my father is running for you. To the veteran tuning in to speech from his or her hospital, who's been ignored and disrespected by an ungrateful system for far too long, my father is running for you. To the school teacher, forced to walk through metal detectors each and every day into an underfunded school, my father is running for you.
That is Eric Trump. I gave Eric Trump a C. I think it could have been a B, but I gave Eric Trump a C. I think he did well, but never really shifted. Talks about his father and talks about how his father is running for you. I don't know, that drives me up the wall for some reason. I don't know why. That drives me up the wall. It's a good speech. It is, content-wise, it's fine. But it drives me up the wall when he says the candidate is running for you. That's the whole point of being a political candidate. We are running a little bit short on time. I want to get to Phil Ruffin.
I'll stay away from it. He bought it and made $200 or $300 million on the deal. That's what he does. When Palm Beach with Robert Kraft, Donald had a house on the ocean. He paid $40 million for it. I didn't like it. I thought it was a mess. He sold it for $100 million.
That's Paul Ruffin getting an F. I gave Paul Ruffin on the report card. I did give him a D, but I changed it to an F. What the hell did this speech even do? What is this? What? Literally only listing Donald Trump's real estate deals. It was a catalog of Donald Trump's real estate deals. It didn't fit. It was energetic. It was relevant. I gave Phil Ruffin, Donald Trump's friend, an F for his speech. Not relevant. I want to get to Rick Scott, governor from Florida, before we get to the two headliners of the night. Here it is. Rick Scott at the RNC.
How many were Orlando's, San Bernardinos, or Fort Hood to happen until President Obama decides to be honest? I cried with the greeted moms and dads and brothers and sisters of the 49 people slaughtered by the ISIS-inspired terrorists. This war is real. It is here in America. And the next president must destroy this evil. Be the president who wipe ISIS off the face of the earth through America. We need a president who is not afraid to say radical Islamic terrorism.
That is Florida Governor Rick Scott, who I gave an A to. I think that the speech of the night went to Rick Scott of Florida, providing a choice of electing a President Donald Trump that would do all this stuff that was relevant for the content and very passionately delivered, very shiftal in tone. Rick Scott gets an A. Now, the two headliners of the night is Indiana Governor Indiana Governor Mike Pence formally accepting the nomination for running for vice president at the Republican National Convention. He was outshadowed by Ted Cruz getting booed, by the way. Here it is, Mike Pence.
Our party and our agenda that opens the doors for every American to succeed and prosper in this land. We all better think very carefully about what this means for our Constitution and limited government. Elect Hillary Clinton, and you better get used to being subject to unelected judges using unaccountable power to take unconstitutional actions. But let me say, for the sake of the rule of law, for the sake of the sanctity of life, for the sake of our Second Amendment, and for the sake of all our other God-given liberties, we must ensure that the next president appointing justices to the Supreme Court is Donald Trump.
That is Governor Mike Pence, who I gave an A to as well, but didn't do as good as his job. That kind of went I expected to go a little bit long, but did deliver an A, kind of doing what he would do as vice president, and tying Donald Trump, probably second to Rick Scott, best speech of the whole entire night. Here is the moment that Rick Scott formally accepted the nomination, played from the start.
Mr. Chairman, delegates, friends, and my fellow Americans, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I am deeply humbled by your confidence, and on behalf of my family, here and gone, I accept your nomination to run and serve as Vice President of the United States of America.
That is that moment. Then let's get to Senator Ted Cruz, who didn't have a good speech. Didn't have a good night. Did he have a good speech, though? That's what we're looking at. We're looking at the content of the speech. Here is Senator Ted Cruz, the Republican National Convention.
Care. Your freedom to choose your own doctor without Obamacare. The internet, keep it free from taxes, free from regulation, and don't give it away to Russia and China. Or Jew, Muslim, or atheist. Emily. Precious and must be protected. And freedom means recognizing that our Constitution allows states to choose policies that reflect local values. Colorado might decide something different than Texas. New York, different than Iowa. That's the way it's supposed to be.
That is Senator Ted Cruz at the Republican National Convention. Want to give him another credit here, and then want to get to that controversy that that stirred up because he got booed essentially for not endorsing Donald Trump. I gave Ted Cruz a B. I think he came out there. He surprised me on his speech, considering he is rivals with Donald Trump. He came out there and also gave a conservative speech that Mike Pence also gave, but of course took a different angle of it because he is a constitutional lawyer, attorney specifically gave a different turn on the Mike Pence speech. But you're there at a party convention where you're nominating a candidate for a general election, not to mention your candidate is a bit flawed politically. So that's the, if it's tied into Donald Trump at any point throughout the speech, I think it would have been better. Here is that moment where he got booed. I think this is it.
And it is love that I hope will bring comfort, enthusiasm of the New York delegation.
That's not the moment. Where's the moment?
And to be faithful to the Constitution.
Okay. Where are you? Come on. Come on.
If you love our country and love your children as much as I know that you do, stand and speak and vote your conscience. Vote for candidates up and down the ticket who you trust to defend our freedom and to be faithful to the Constitution.
I'm not happy Ted Cruz here particularly. And then the chanting is, we want Trump. It's interesting, the headlines that are coming out of the convention. It's interesting. We'll talk about that more in the next time we talk about the convention in greater detail. As we continue here on the Genetic Live Show, we have tips and tricks for little bits. That worked out really well. That's a decent and a half. Thanks for joining us here on the Genetic Live Show. It's 10:21.
This Geek Podcast Network program is sponsored by Audible. They're the leaders in digital audiobooks on the internet. Choose from over 100,000 titles across all types of literature, including fiction, non-fiction, and periodicals. Try Audible.com now and get your first 30 days of Audible Listen Gold membership plan for free. That's right, free, which includes one audiobook credit per month. After your 30-day trial, your membership will renew for just $14.95 per month, so you can continue to receive your audiobook credit per month, plus members-only discounts on all audio purchases. If audiobooks aren't quite your thing, well, that's okay. Audible also have a variety of radio and TV programs and audio versions of magazines and newspapers. There's something for everyone. Check out geek-io.net/audible for all of the details. And we thank Audible for their support of the Geek.io Podcast Network.
Hello, dear listener. Here at Geek.io, we're always happy to give some support to the little person. So today I'd like to let you know about a small internet startup called Amazon.com. Go to geek-io.net/Amazon to check out their large catalogs of books and magazines. I believe they may have some other items for sale too, records and videotapes perhaps. Using geek-io.net/Amazon lets them know you discovered them through us, and I'll throw a few pennies our way. Thank you.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? This is JD from How It Stacks here talking about ProXPN. It is a private VPN, which basically means it is going to mask your IP address, protecting your data. So if you're out on the interwebs doing things you might not need to be doing, or if you're banking online overseas, it will help mask your data and keep it completely private. And you can do this for only $6.25 a month regularly, or you can use Geek20 for 20% off. So it's a pretty stellar deal, guys. I'm just going to be honest, with all of the stuff that we've had going on, it's a good idea to invest in something like ProXPN.com. So I am JD, and I approve this message.
time of day, whatever the time of the night, we're here to serve you a big dose of genericness with your host, Dale Campbell.
That's right. You a big dose. I don't know what that's meant to be. Thanks for joining us here on the Generic Live Show, whether you're listening to us live or on your hard drive. It's greatly appreciated as always. So glad to be with us. It's a good song, isn't it? It's so sexy. It's dripping with sexiness. I might say that for personal use, I may say. There was no quotation around the word personal at all. It was word around use. Anywho, you're considering a fitness band. We've got some tips for you. Tips and tricks that might improve your fitness tracking or worth a shot. We can give you handy hints here at the GLS. You know, we want to give you the best in life. Here's a look at fitness advice for the four leading manufacturers: Microsoft's Band 2 and Motorola's Motorsport 360 Sport were excluded. Disclaimer: considering in part their battery life was poor, though for marathons less than 4 hours. Bit of a funny one. And the Apple Watch protection does not extend to leather bands. So there you go. For the basics, Fitbit is the market leader. It has a wide range of offerings. At $130, the Fitbit Ultra offers basic step tracking. $200, the Fitbit Blaze adds heart rate monitoring and a larger screen. The 300 Fitbit Surge as a GPS for better pace and distance readings during outdoor workouts. Though all-day step tracking doesn't use GPS to conserve battery. For running and cycling, the Blaze does not have GPS, but borrows the one on your phone that you carry. All three models come with automatic sleep monitoring, so there you go. All Fitbits have amazing battery life and can go for several days without a recharge. The screens aren't as vivid as the rivals offer, so the Blaze has colour. A first for the Fitbit. So there you go. There's the Fitbits. For the Piaget, Samsung's Gear Fit 2 offers high-end features at around half the price of the top-line Fitbit, $180. This includes GPS for better distance monitoring during outdoor workouts. There's automatic sleep tracking too. The screen is more vivid than the Fitbits, but it can be tough to read in direct sunlight. You'll need to crank up the brightness, which is fine, as the battery still lasts for 6 to 7 hours with GPS used and a few days without it. The Fit 2 also tracks squats, lunges, and other strength exercises in a tracker. While the Fitbit Blaze and Surge will notify you of missed calls and messages on your phone, the capabilities are poor compared to smartwatches. The Fit 2 does better by offering limited message replies from the device, but doesn't offer the app choices that smartwatches do. An Android phone is not necessarily with Samsung's. It's required for full functionality. No iPhones or PCs. You can compete with other users of the Samsung's S Health app, not just Fit2 owners, but the community isn't as vibrant as Fitbits. For the performance, most fitness trackers are designed for general fitness needs and offers a little more customization for users. Garmin's Viro Active is the exception for 220 the base model and 250 for the HR version with heart rate monitoring, with GPS and automatic sleep tracking and some phone notifications. It syncs with a variety of devices as with Fitbits. But the Video Active, and that's the Garmin technical and gadgets for running, golfing, and other sports. Runners are able to record their times after each lap on a track, while other fitness devices usually limit you to whatever intervals each mile or so. Which is good. There are still times you need a dedicated device. Swimming on the far right, for instance, is limited to a pool, while the 450 Forerunner 735 XT allows open water tracking. Jesus. For lifestyle, you can get an Apple Watch and all the rest of it, where it kind of does the sort of basic stuff, but it's more fashionable. It has kind of 4 to 5 hours battery life, but you can still, it still looks nice. You can do little bits and pieces, but for the lifestyle, you've got that there as well. As we continue here on the show, that's what's out there in terms of fit, in terms of wearables. So take that advice what you will. Take it or leave it. You can either do one of the two things. You can not take advice nor leave advice at the same time. As we continue here on the Trinidad Live Show, thanks for joining us. As we continue, we'll do the last night at the Republican National Convention. We'll finish up our roundup of that. Plus, we have a very, very special announcement to make at the end of the show. What could it be? No one knows. Actually, you might know. It's 10. Thanks for joining us. It's 10:31.
This podcast is proudly brought to you by you. That's right, you. Over at patreon.com/geekio, where you can help us out with a small monthly donation. For as little as $1 a month. Do you know anything that you can buy for $1 a month? I don't. That's right though, $1 a month, but there's no terms, there's no conditions, $1 per month to help us out to unlock some really, really cool goals. A goal that I personally want to help unlock is the weekly Mana Pool Show, which is a weekly playthrough of D&D 5th edition. It would be really cool if we could do that weekly, and you can help that happen with as little as $1 per month. That's right, $1. $1. There's nothing you can buy with $1 the internet. $1 a month would help us out tremendously. Just head on over to patreon.com/geekio to help us out. We thank you, the listeners, for your support and keeping the lights on here. Show. This podcast network is proudly sponsored by T-Fury. T-Fury is the home of your t-shirt needs. Well, we're all geeks, and we all love wearing t-shirts because, well, society tells us that we can't walk around naked, allegedly. So we've got you covered. T-Fury is the home of t-shirts with geeky designs from independent artists. What's there not to love? T-shirts, geekiness, indeed. Yay! When you're ready to go check out the range, use our affiliate link over at geek-io.net/T-Fury. So we get a little bit of a kickback off any t-shirt that is bought from the hundreds of t-shirts available at T-Fury. T-Fury, the match made in heaven. A match made in heaven is not actually the T-Fury slogan, although I don't actually know what the T-Fury slogan is. Opinions that are reflected in the preceding advertisement was the opinions of Dan Kalani and not reflect those of the Geek Out Podcast Network. Its affiliates are also sponsored. The Geek Out Podcast Network is proudly sponsored by ProXPN. ProXPN is an uber secure VPN that believes you should be able to use the internet how you want to. By encrypting all traffic that goes through it, keeps your data private, your IP address is completely hidden, so your location is secure, keeps you safe from all of those stupid cable 6 strike groups and more. With everything going on the internet these days, particularly now in 2016, all the threats and Trojan horses and Big Brother watching you, ProXPN is a very good investment. And good news is it's very affordable and won't break the bank. Keep your traffic safe. Go to proxpn.com and when you're ready to order, use our coupon code GEEK20, that's GEEK20, for 20% off the already really low price of $6.25 a month. We thank ProXPN for their support of the Geek.io network.
This is the Generic Live Show. This is Dale Campbell.
Thanks for joining us here on the Generic Live Show, here on a Sunday. So glad to be with us here on the Sunday. Yes, we are dedicating half of the episode to coverage of the Republican National Convention that happened this week. So much to see, so much to do. We're up to night 4 of the coverage. And we're doing things a little bit differently. We're not giving you the headlines over and over and over again like some shows are. We're providing report cards. That's right. Report card. Actual paper. This is actual paper. Actual paper. Lots of stuff. That's the summary. See? There you go. Yeah. Lots of summaries. See? Flash that. There you go. A little tease for you here on Sunday. So glad to be with you. Thank you for being with us as well. Well, night 4, of course, for Donald Trump. Actually, before we get to all that, want to get to the highlights of the convention. How did the convention do? Night 1, right out of the gate, Melania Trump made headlines by what I'm led to believe as leapfrogging of Michelle Obama's 2008 speech. Night 2 saw Paul Ryan get in some heat for roll calling and Mitch McConnell's abomination of a speech. That's my notes. Then we have night 3, we've got Ted Cruz being booed, essentially off stage, and Mike Pence accepting the nomination. And night 4 is, well, Donald Trump. I think the convention was not that great. If they're your headlines, then you're doing something a little bit off. But yeah, that's just me. Let's continue here with giving the speakers at the RNC letter grades. Let's get to Peter Thiel. He's a co-founder and a PayPal investor in Facebook. Here is him speaking at the RNC.
Every American has a unique identity. I am proud to be gay. I am proud to be a Republican. But most of all, I am proud to be an American. Future felt limitless. But today, our government is broken. Our nuclear bases still use floppy disks. Our newest fighter jets can't even fly in the rain. And it would be kind to say the government software works poorly, because much of the time it doesn't even work at all. That is a staggering decline for the country that completed the Manhattan Project. We don't accept such incompetence in Silicon Valley, and we must not accept it from our government.
That is Peter Thiel. I think I'm saying his name correctly. I gave this speech a B. I think he was effective in kind of shifting, kind of melding the topic to his specialty a little bit. It was outside of the vein, but he kind of bent it into the thing, which is to unify the party. I don't know if he did that as well, but I think he touched on the topic that no one really touched on, because no real kind of tech experts were at the convention. I think he kind of melded that into the speech a little bit. And of course, he had to mention he was gay. Over there. But I think he was effective in what he was trying trying to do. I don't think he didn't mention the fact that he of course, he's proud to be American, he's proud to be Republican, proud to be gay. You really have to think of the third thing to throw in there. But, everyone's proud of something. I'm going to give him that. Don't think it's relevant to a political party. Proud to be gay here. Just put that out there, but I wouldn't say that in a political speech when it's not relevant. We're talking about technology and unifying the party. That's just me. I gave Peter Thiel B for his speech. Want to get to Oklahoma Governor Mary Fallin. Fallin? Yeah. Here she is up on stage at the RNC on Thursday night.
But it wasn't a destiny that was inevitable. We were optimistic about our future, and we knew we could succeed with hard work, a good education, and faith in God. There weren't very many opportunities for young women, but we did have a great role model, a woman mayor, my mom. She taught me if I worked hard, I could be anything. And I took that lesson to heart and eventually became the first female governor of the state of Oklahoma.
That is Mary Fallin. She continues.
Reagan once said, the person who agrees with you 80% of the time is a friend and an ally. We invite every American who believes in these principles and longs for an end to division and wants to make America one again to join us in electing Donald Trump as President of the United States. Thank you, and God bless you all. God bless America.
That is Mary Fallin there at the RNC. I gave her speech an A. I think it's spot on. I think best speech of the night. I gave best speech of the night, not the nominee. Horror there. I think she gave the best speech. She gave everyone needs to come together. If you agree, you can agree on something at least. First female governor of Oklahoma. Demonstrated she can overcome challenges and bring people together regardless of who she is personally and based on her beliefs. Fantastic stuff from her there. Want to get to Mr. Trump, but that's coming up next. This is Reince Priebus here at
Our enemies.
National Convention.
Just look at her disastrous Iran nuclear deal, which lined the pockets of the world's #1 state sponsor of terrorism with your money, while abandoning our greatest ally in the Middle East, the nation of Israel. It was on her watch ISIS began to spread its wings of evil over the Middle East. And she has spent the last 16 months looking in the eyes of the American people and lying about how recklessly she jeopardized the American people, our national security, with her secret email server. She lied.
That's okay. Right Priebus there. I gave Priebus a C. I think he didn't perform well at all. I think he was nervous. He is on the Republican National Committee for the convention. I think he performed really poorly for what he should have done. His speech should have been less about attacking Hillary and bringing people together at his own convention. So in that kind of respect, he failed miserably. But I did give him a C. I think he was effective on trying to just own the other side of the aisle and make it all about the Republicans. That was the aim of the speech. He kind of achieved the aim of the speech. I think he did okay from the speech, but it kind of turned into a comedy routine kind of feel with the look at Hillary look what Hillary's doing now. I think it kind of turned into a bit too much of that. And I don't know if it should have, if you're trying to unify people. I don't think attacking people is the way to go. Now, let's talk about the big man himself, shall we? Donald Trump. And I'm going to play a clip. I'm going to let this clip run. Here's my main problem with his speech. You'll hear it.
Of human smuggling and violence. Illegal.
Hang on. Here we go. Donald Trump.
And will work directly with them to protect the integrity of our lawful immigration system. Lawful. By ending catch and release on the border, we will end the cycle of human smuggling and violence. Illegal border crossings will go down. We will stop it. It won't be happening very much anymore, believe me.
I think that is. I understand that is Donald Trump's MO, but you would think that he would stick to teleprompter. Here's some more Donald Trump before I give you his grade.
And thousands of lives lost. The situation is worse. Egypt was turned over to the radical Muslim Brotherhood, forcing the military to retake control. Iraq is in chaos. Iran is on the path to nuclear weapons. Syria is engulfed in a civil war, and a refugee crisis now threatens the West. After 15 years of wars in the Middle East, after trillions of dollars spent, and thousands of lives lost, the situation is worse than it has ever been before.
That is Donald Trump at the Republican National Convention on Thursday night. Wait for it. I gave Donald Trump's speech a B. I gave his speech a B. That's B for Bob. You got B. And you heard in that last little bit there, the bits I didn't pick out bits specifically. It was all one time. The messaging was good. The delivery of it fell flat. I think he was trying for passion, but you can deliver passion in lots of ways. I think he overstood his levels of passion for a little bit. He went off script, which, yeah, I know that is his MO, but you're delivering the most important speech apart from your your victory speech or defeat speech in November. The two either or, no, either or, the same thing. Yeah, the second most important speech of your life. Second to the one you did when you got nominated, and you're deciding to yell at us. Dear God, no help us all. You know, I don't mind the speech. I listened to all 1 hour and 20 minutes of it. It was good. The messaging was good. Details were a bit sketchy in parts, but that's fine. You can have a good speech and not have get into too much policy details. He was telling us what our problems were. He was telling us how he's kind of going towards it. It will happen until November to tell us how he is going to do it. And Trump and Pence balance each other out. You could see it in that speech. Yes, okay, Pence higher letter grade, but they balance each other out. Donald Trump gets a B from me on his speech, but I think the problem with him getting a B and not an A is a president does need to show compassion at the right, needs to show right situational kind of analysis at the right fine. I just don't think he kind of delivered that punch that he needed at that time. But we will hear a little bit of his entry. This is Donald Trump, I think. Maybe, I don't know. This is Donald Trump walking out on stage anyway.
Thank you. Thank you. Friends, delegates, and fellow Americans, I humbly and gratefully accept your nomination for the President of the United States. Well, we started this journey on June 16th last year. We, and I say we, because we are a team, would have received almost 14 million votes, the most in the history of the Republican Party, and that the Republican Party would get 60% more votes than it received 8 years ago. Who would have believed this?
And there you go. And then he went off track. But it was an efficient speech. It did well. I'm surprised. I'm surprised it wasn't too off the rails. It did go for 70 minutes, so it tied it together really well. And it's in the night, the night. Oh my god, he kept in that thing of the night. It was magical. As we continue here on the Generic Live Show, thanks for joining us. We have a very special announcement for some special people. We're going to make people lose their mind. Thanks for joining us here on the Generic Live Show. It's 10:52.
The Geeko Podcast Network is proudly sponsored by ProXPN. ProXPN is an Uber secure VPN that believes you should be able to use the internet how you want to. By encrypting all traffic that goes through it, keeps your data private, your IP address is completely hidden, so your location is secure, keeps you safe from all of those stupid cable 6 strike rules, and more. With everything going on the internet these days, particularly now in 2016, all the threats and Trojan horses and Big Brother watching you, ProXPN is a very good investment. And good news is it's very affordable and won't break the bank. Keep your traffic safe. Go to proxpn.com and when you're ready to order, use our coupon code GEEK20, that's GEEK20, for 20% off the already really low price of $6.25 a month. We thank ProXPN for their support of the Geek.io network.
Hello, dear listener. Here at Geek.io, we're always happy to give some support to the little person. So today I'd like to let you know about a small internet startup called Amazon.com. Go to geek-io.net/Amazon to check out their large catalogs of books and magazines. I believe they may have some other items for sale too, records and videotapes perhaps. Using geek-io.net/Amazon, let us know you discovered them through us and I'll throw a few pennies our way. Thank you.
This is the Generic Live Show with Dale Campbell.
Thanks for joining us here on the Generic Live Show when you're listening to us live or on your radar. So glad you can be with us. It's good to be here. Of course, we have a very special announcement. Get ready. Rocky Horror broadcast date has been announced. Hold on to your butts. Just in Time Halloween, the brand new production of the 1975 cult classic, The Rocky Horror Picture Show. Let's do the Time Warp again. Colin, let's do the Time Warp again. Will air Thursday, October 20th, 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Time on Fox. What? 2-hour musical event. Stars Victoria Justice, Ryan McCullen, Laverne Cox, and Stars Nia. The narrator played by Tim Curry, the original Frank and Furter. Celebrating 40 years of theatrical distribution, longer than any other film in history, the Rocky Horror Picture Show is one of the most popular films of all time. Here is a highlight reel of the press event. If it starts to play, here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. And here are some highlights from the event at Comic-Con. Oh, come on. I did this massively nothing. Oh, come on. Oh, come on. Oh, that's whoops. Babe.
This movie my whole life. For me, it was being able to find a cast that would have an appreciation and that would be able to sort of bring these characters to life once again with their own imagination and not fill other people's shoes, but just wear their own shoes really right.
It was just constantly about reminding each other and ourselves that this was about paying homage to the original. And when we remember that, you know, the pressure to like do better, the pressure to like be something so extraordinarily different, totally fell to the wayside. And it just became about doing it and just having a fantastic time.
I remember when I screen tested, I had to scene with a bunch of different brides and Rockies. I remember I had to crawl over a lot of like boiled up men.
She had a really fun day.
Somebody's got to do it, you know.
Come on, we've got, you know, the first Emmy-nominated transgender actress playing a leading role in a musical. It's just about liberation and about acceptance of yourself and about transformation and transition and some of the other wonderful things I don't need to tell you about.
Well, we actually found out today the Simpsons start the Halloween era on the 16th of October on Fox, and we follow on the 20th of October.
You guys give it up for our incredible panel.
Right, there we go. All right, so that is the holiday. The Simpsons on Fox will happen, and then the Rocky Horror Picture Show will happen right after that. Yes, they do mention the Laverne Cox in the Rocky Horror Picture Show as the leading role. I think it's one of the leading roles. I think it's really, really good. A good thing for them to cast Laverne Cox. It's actually good casting. This is good casting at work here, and I don't like the fact that they're using that as a massive selling point. I think they would just, if they mention it, great, have that as your thing. But you're right, they don't have to do better. They just have to recreate what is already existing in what's already existing, and they just have to kind of reproduce it. They're not remaking it. All they have to do is reproduce it. So excited! I wish I could watch this. That'd be so cool to just watch this in its entirety. And that would make all of my dreams come true at once. But alas, my dreams are not coming true. Why, you might ask? That's all we have time for on the Generic Live Show. Thank you for being here on the Generic Live Show. Yes, that's right. Rocky Horror Picture Show is back on your televisions, ladies and gentlemen. There you go. nonsense. Not to say, dude, I really swore on the air because of it. You're very welcome. Thanks for joining us here on the Generic Live Show. It's been a pleasure as always. Dale Campbell here with you on a Sunday. We'll see you all next week. Thank you so much for being here. Hope you have a fantastic and wonderful week. Thank you. It's 11 o'clock.
This has been a Chef on the Media production. For more, visit chefonthemedia.net to lift it fresh to your ear holes. Copyright 2006.
Podcast of the Geek Out Media Network, where you put your geek in and geek out. For more geek, just head over to geek-io.net. Copyright.